partly because I've never really been concerned with displaying my own virtuosity, because I never really thought that I had any to display. But it's really been about just doing enough to let the music persist for a little while, and no longer than it needs to. It has to do with basically my relationship to the instrument and my own kind of path through this music, which itself has been, one discovery after another. It's sort of by a lot of accidents that just sort of brought me into this. So I don't really have any grand plan of domination or anything like that. I just sort of want to be able to move with some amount of grace and some amount of power inside of the music. How do you make another trio record? 1,000 people have made 1,000,000 trio records, or maybe probably more than 1,000 people. Unfortunately, I remember I had to do this blindfold test a couple of years ago for Downbeat, and he only played me piano music, trio and solo music that had been issued that year, And by the end of it, I was ready to shoot myself. It all blended together in a way that was just depressing, like how do you really distinguish yourself in this format? Lots of people say to hell with liner notes. Who does this artist think he is addressing us? Which I think is funny because that's what the music's doing anyway, personally I'd cherish any discourse from any artist. They don't often, I should say we, don't often get time to, or get the opportunity to have our perspectives on our own work heard or acknowledged or given any kind of permanent quality, I also appreciate that music is something that circulates in ways that I have no control over and don't wish to control, It's part of what it means to be a musician in the world, is that you basically set your work free in the world. Not literally free, although you can't really control that either. But, you have to be willing to accept any reading, any interpretation of your work, because that's what it means to put it out into the world. And I don't really try to set forth interpretations of my work. I try to just frame it for in case anyone wants to know why I did this, here's why, or what it means to me. Here's one articulation of what it might mean to me. Some people want to know that and some don't. I know that 20 years from now, will want to know why I made that album, So at the very least, it's a message to my future self, and to whoever else cares to read it. To me, what jazz is a field. It's an area of overlapping interests and overlapping histories. I often find that people impose the word jazz in ways that are meant to limit what the music can be. And that is of no interest to me. And yet at the same time, I'm 100% indebted to the history of the music that's called jazz, you know. And so I'm not going to betray that history or that its influence on me, its impact on me. So it puts you in an interesting situation, you know, when you're, it's 2010, and you have this 100-year-old music that is hotly contested, and different people want to own and define and contain and ignore and so on. And meanwhile, the music's been chugging along on its own steam, you know, and expanding and having this huge impact on the world the entire time, you know, all these debates kind of notwithstanding.